Welcome, everyone, to Energy Unleashed, the Midlife Reset podcast. Today, we have an amazing guest. She has her master's in social work. She's an author and empowers women how to be their best selves and chase their dreams, get what they want. She's a keynote speaker, and she's just a spitball fire kind of woman, my kind of woman. Welcome, Sarah Shaffer.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I love this. I'm so excited to talk.
Oh, thank you so much for your time and thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is where it's at. This is that women empowerment, those midlife shifts. That's exactly where it is.
100% it. And you're just someone that would totally get you in line where you need to be because she's unapologetically her, speaks the truth and tells you like it is, and just a hustler. Remember when I first met you, I like, oh, hey, hi, how's it going? Da-da-da. Oh, I just got off the phone with the radio station that just booked me and just like me and this and da-da-da-da. So hustler. And I guess you can give us a little bit of your background and how did you become such a go-getter and just inspire others out there because you just get shit done.
That's absolutely. We all have our stories. We all have our stories. I have my laundry list of 11 shades of Meredith Grey. Every corner I took, there was something else. And it ended up being, one thing bigger than the next. And that went from childhood abuse by a parent and all the gloriousness that comes with that to a front row seat to 9/11. And then to a child who had a rare disease, has survived stem cell transplant, and now is rocking type 1 diabetes. But here's the thing, I'm not unique. My story is unique to me. Absolutely. But there's nowhere even close to I am the only one who has gone through dumpster fire after dumpster fire after dumpster fire.
And this is hence the name of your book.
There it is, the Dumpster Fire Diaries, because we can't stop them from coming. We just can't. In this midlife transition where we're all kind of, women are realizing that this is not what it was cracked up to be. It's not what was promised to us. The expectations that were put forth to us were so unrealistic, and when your expectations are here and they're not achievable, you're going to constantly be disappointed, and we beat ourselves up. And
that's so key. Yes.
So, the real and raw, the Dumpster Fire Diaries, Get Off the Hot Mess Express, is really that first stop of owning my part in these dumpster fires. And that took to me getting sober in May of 2021.
Congratulations, too, because that is not easy, honey.
Oh. No, it is not.
I have not been there, but I've seen my father has been there, and it was a whirlwind. It was my whole upbringing until I was an adult did he suffer through it. So I give you all huge hug, and just that's not easy.
It's not, but it's doable. And things, how I coach and how I wrote this book is that the strategies that I used and use every day are simple. They're not easy. And I think, if we're at this point and we're doing all of this effort and energies and we're exhausted and we're not fulfilled, we don't feel a purpose, we're beating this dead horse incessantly, wondering why it won't get up.
Yeah.
She's been dead, sent to the glue factory, and she's back again. And we're sitting there going, I don't get it. Well, and it's when we reclaim, and we are all products of our childhood. None of us need a scientist or a physician to tell us that. You grew up with an alcoholic father. I can guarantee you that your coping skills, your fight, flight, freeze, your assessment of situations was all born dead. And as we get older, those coping skills that helped us survive during those times somehow lose their efficacy. right? And they become more detrimental. So for me, drinking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week was the only way that I could breathe at that time. You've got everything going on. I had a 3-year-old with a post-transplant baby, working
Oh,
full time. I started my own foundation because his disease was rare, took that to a public cord blood donation program that was the only one in Philadelphia. And, that was the wolf that I fed. I had to take all of that negative and anger and do something with it. So
yeah.
fortunately, I have that innate bulldog nature, and that's my coping skill and that's my survival skill from the beginning.
Yep.
You better
Yep.
be a bulldog if you're going to survive.
Yes. We're all unique in our own personalities, our own special ways. Now, neighbor next door, you, me, this person, our stories are freaking insane. Like everybody's story is so different. It can be extremely traumatic. Who knew life could be like this, right? But everybody has their own way of dealing with it depending on their upbringing. But for those sitting there that just feel like this heavy cloak on them and they had such a traumatic upbringing and they're like, well, what does that mean? I'm not unique. What can you say to that person? What's something you can say to them to try to let them understand a little bit better of what you're explaining?
Well, because I think that it's to that point, is I'm not unique in that I've had a crappy upbringing and a lot of shit has happened all around me. And I'm not responsible for those things. I wasn't responsible for the towers falling. I wasn't responsible for my father. I wasn't responsible for, his osteoclast not working. Not responsible. But
Uh-huh.
every choice I made within that is my responsibility. I can see where I can connect the dots, and that starts to allow for clearer thinking because
Uh-huh.
the shame and the guilt and all of this in owning our part in it, it is it's manageable, meaning you can look at it and you can own it to whoever it is. I've owned it to my
Uh-huh.
children. I drove with them and I was drinking. I was a royal bitch. I was
Uh-huh.
angry all the time. They
Uh-huh.
had no idea what was coming. So that generational cycle of hurt and shame and misery, I was perpetuating, not in the same manner. So that's kind of the same
Uh-huh.
with, we all have our unique stories. So yes, I was not abusing you. I didn't do those things that hurt me, but in the same factor, I was inflicting the same emotions.
Yes.
Why am I not good enough? Why does mommy have to drink? Why, are things just not peaceful?
Yeah. Yeah. Until you acknowledge the issue, it doesn't mean you have to drag it around with you 24/7 all throughout life because that just makes things worse. It's a matter of just empowering them by let's acknowledge it, but you don't need to carry it with you the misery moving forward. Like that's what's going to just keep bringing that energy over and over and over and manifest into other things, right?
Well, right. And that's, I love to use the image of the Spanx. And
Oh
especially
yes.
for us women,
Yes.
this is what we do. Here, take this piece of material that's about this big. You're going to
For
shove
the men out
everything
there, you
down.
guys know what Spanx are. They're like they suck up the fat and just like tights and
Well,
body
and
everywhere.
yep, and what we're told is it will make it go away. No one
Mm-hmm.
will know that you have. And then you notice that the boob fat starts to bubble over and the back
Yep.
fat. And then your legs are numb because you've cut off the circulation trying to do what?
Yeah.
And you're uncomfortable and you can't breathe. To me, that's exactly what we've done. And, when women get to me, they're done. They're done. They've tried the traditional therapy. We've talked ad
Yes.
nauseum, and the trauma is there. This is not to diminish or discount. What I do differently is let's just get right to the core. You already know what it is. I'm not going to tell anybody something that they don't know.
They
They're
may
just,
not want to admit it, but
it's the
they
fear.
know it. Yes. Yes.
It's the fear. And that fear is our perception. And 9 times out of 10, that perception is off kilter. So when you have somebody like yourself or me, that you just verbally vomit the cuckoo crazy thoughts that
Yeah.
we've got, and they're going, you're already doing it. It's nonstop. You know it. You're not sleeping. Your appetite is poor. You can't concentrate, and and that's those intrusive thoughts of things that we
Uh-huh.
haven't connected those dots. So they're just mulling around. And I say like a fire, what we were taught was to go like this. And all that do? Spread that shit right around.
Uh-huh.
We go and get to that core. I know that's gonna hurt. I know it's gonna hurt like a bitch.
Yeah.
But you wanna know what? There we
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
not feeding it anymore, and
Yes.
yes, it's going to hurt. No one's out there promising, unicorns farting glitter. It's just that isn't a reality. And it's what that storybook told us. This is all going to be lovely.
And it's just like you said, it's gonna hurt when you're seeking help. It will hurt, but that's the very first major jump to healing.
But it's also which hurts more, staying exactly where you
Oof.
are. And if someone
Yeah.
says, "Oh, I'm not ready," okay, where were you a year ago? Are we in
Uh-huh.
that same place?
Uh-huh.
We've got solutions. We can do this.
Uh-huh.
And when you get to the core and you get to the nitty gritty right off the bat, we're saving decades. The
Uh-huh.
elongated therapy. And like I said, we're not dismissing and yes, there is absolute work that needs to be done with that. But the level of time that we've spent on it and how we've already suffered long enough. I've already thought about this for 51 years. I don't need
Yeah.
to think about this
Right.
anymore.
Right.
But how do I stop? Because
Right.
it's still, until you get it out, whether it's writing, talking, whatever, it needs to physically leave your body.
It's a matter of at some point, if you want to get better, if you want to thrive and glow, even when you're thriving and glowing and wonderful, have everything that you want, bam, something else is going to happen because that's just life and we're learning lessons we're all building resilience. But there's some that I see that they're just heavy and just carrying so much on them, and so it's a matter of find that person that they connect with to talk it
Right.
out, get that therapy, get that healing. Um, and you don't have to keep reliving it. However, sometimes you're around people from your childhood or from, relatives or old friends that may keep bringing that thing up and like, oh my God,
Mm.
what happened to you? Blah, blah. And oh my God, do you remember? Now, what do you say in that case? Is it yes, you can talk about it, but I don't think you can dwell on it because energy is everything and the way things manifest. And if you're going back and talking and feeling those feelings all over again, things may happen in life like negatively that interrupts your life or what do you say to that? Like if you're around people that remember the old you or and the issues that you had experienced, or just say, I don't want to talk about this right now. That I don't talk about that anymore.
Well, and it's so those are the boundaries. That's,
Yes.
a big piece of my book is those boundaries, and whether it's boundaries with, you know, uh, family of origin, friends. And when you start to become whole to yourself, you start to realize I was putting on a show for all these other people because things made people uncomfortable. And that
Uh-huh.
radical honesty that for me came with getting sober, you know, and putting it all out there was the most freeing thing in the world because I've already listed off probably a good dozen things that people go
Yeah.
like, "Eh." But you
Right.
know what? I can't undo them.
Yep.
I can own them. I can acknowledge them to the people that I hurt with them if they are still valuable in my
Uh-huh.
life,
Uh-huh.
and then I can move on because there's nothing else I can do. And that came from when I went to rehab the second time was the counselor that I worked with slapped page 417 right in front of me and was acceptance. And I went in there and he wasn't dismissing the trauma. We identify with that. And I no longer wanted to be a trauma girl. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it didn't bring me any value. What use
Yes.
does that have to me?
Yes.
So it's
Good for
my
you. Yes.
choice. So when you ask, like, oh, you're at a party and people, if you have done the radical honesty, then I'm sitting there going, oh yeah, well, sure, I did that. Let's talk about it. Do you have something going on? Do you have something similar? Can I
Right.
help you with
Right.
something?
Right. 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 Right.
Because
Right.
you're
Right.
gonna judge me? Go right ahead, sweet pea, because I think you've got a whole lot of stuff going on in your world that you're feeling the need to have an
That's
opinion about my
exactly.
world. We can gussy it up and be like, oh, I just don't understand. They came from such a wonderful family. You start digging, even just with a little chip, and you will find that nobody came from a perfect family.
Right.
And we disguise it with money. No, they have money. They must be okay.
Just the book cover. Yep.
Yep. And
Yep.
for when you see people with the really lack of good intention, meaning why are I'm behaving poorly?
Mm-hmm.
What is my intention? Is my intention to go right at you, Michelle, and hurt you?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I just a rolling dumpster fire and I'm taking everybody down in my Tasmanian devil spin?
To make you
Two
feel better.
very
Mm-hmm.
different things.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't excuse it. No, no.
Mm-hmm.
No
Mm-hmm.
free ticket. No free ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I do not get a pass at the way I acted
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just because there is no just because. So when we have, those that would like to get out of it and those that don't. And I think and the want is that intention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we may not have what we think is the strength, but we do. We're taught, we're taught, we're taught. And when we're in those scenarios and we have learned to recluse,
Mm-hmm.
to protect ourselves, that's the survival skill. So we shut
Yeah.
down and we're just, you know what? I'll go in robot mode. I'll keep everything at bay. I'll
Mm-hmm.
keep everything looking nice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a larger portion of our women.
Yeah. We all created, whether we know it or not, versions of ourselves just to survive that situation, that phase of life. So it's okay to now shed it, hug it, love it, and let it go. And time to create the next you, it's all the phases.
It is all the phases and it's a big piece of acceptance. My three A's are awareness, accountability, and action. So that with the awareness comes acceptance. And it's not, I don't accept your behaviors towards me, but I accept that this is the scenario and my choice is whether I stay or go. And again, not dismissing that it is very difficult to get out of these scenarios, but we're our own blocks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's fear. It's fear, and that's real. But once you
Uh-huh.
talk about that fear, sometimes we're creating our own blocks. We're in our own way. And
Yep.
for
We
God's sake,
all
we
have our own
cannot get
thing.
out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's that connection to say, no, you're not alone. No, you're not crazy. No, you don't need to be medicated to the point of sedation.
I really do love Western medicine. We need that for major situations going on, but I don't like that. It's the very first resort is just to numb you with all kinds of meds. There's a lot of people walking around like zombies taking antidepressants and all of that because they haven't done the initial natural deep work.
Right. We haven't done the work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're tired, we're frustrated, we're annoyed,
Yeah.
this is enough. But it's that, how are you saying that? You know, this is enough, or this is enough, or this is enough. And
Uh-huh.
it's all in our tone and how we feel when we say that out loud. And when
Uh-huh.
I've had enough, and I'm going. I'm ready for that enough.
Yes, that's so powerful. So in your book, it's a summary of your upbringing slash where you are right now and how to motivate others. Tell me in a nutshell, what is it, Dumpster Diaries? No.
The Dumpster Fire Diaries,
Yes.
get off the Hot Mess Express. And it's going to be meant to be a series. So, because I have been fortunate to have a gajillion different dumpsters, and they've shown me multitudes of different things in my life. And whether
Uh-huh.
I saw them at the time or knew them, but I'm compiling them all right now. And let me tell you something, I'm pulling stuff out from like, oh no, I've got that
Wow.
skill. I've
Yes.
got that, and I'm going to own it, and I'm going to be proud of it.
Yes.
That's a part of my story. That's fine. It's not going to be a detriment. It's going to be a catalyst. It's going to be a vehicle to help other people. So it is my story going all the way up through to Mason's, diabetes diagnosis last year. And, having a rare and stem cell transplant child, and we knew that it was a possibility that this would be a potential byproduct. And we wouldn't have made a different decision back at the time. We just wouldn't have.
Uh-huh.
So going back to that rehab where page 417 of acceptance, and look at, I'd go in and say, this is happening and this is happening. What are you going to do about it? What the fuck are you going to do
Yeah.
about it? You
Yeah.
cannot, that's where that, you cannot change it. So here we go. And we were very grateful with this diagnosis because there's other things that are on the table. And I stood out on the lawn and I did my look up to my universe. That's, I'm a
Yes.
universe gal, and go, are you
Yes.
fucking kidding me? Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
No, you're being authentic and real and like what the is going
Are
on?
and not for me, for him. I couldn't give two
Yes.
shits.
Yeah.
I can handle
Your
this. I know
baby.
I can.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have your moment. This is what I tell my kids now that we're at this point is you get 24 hours. Go sit in your filth, have your emotions. We'll sit, we'll talk about it,
Uh-huh.
get it all out. And then it's time to go into what's the strategy, what's the solution. Because we can be upset about it. We can be upset about it all we want. We need to identify where the value is. I
Yes.
want you to feel your emotions. I want you to acknowledge this is a really shitty situation that is
Yes.
being thrown on your thing. And then your next question is, what do we do next?
And
What do we do?
so that is part of life. That's just life. We are
Right.
brought here to feel every single emotion that you could possibly feel, really amazing bliss, and then all the way to just so awful that you can't even imagine, But that's part of life is just feeling all the feelings of the rainbow. And it's some sucks, some is amazing and euphoric and just that's just life.
It is life. And I think it's, again, our expectations. You know, Funny, haha. Maybe some people will find this a little on the sick side, but that's our sense of humor. That's one of our big coping skills is humor. Um,
Yes, you are the queen of that.
so, my son's transplant doctor is now a very successful, high level physician with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And so when we got diagnosed with the type 1 diabetes, we called him or texted him and said, I'd like to speak to the manager. Your star transplant patient seems to have a defect and we'd like a refund.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Because
gosh.
it's not his fault. It's not
Yeah,
like, and that's the other
that
for me,
is,
for a
oh,
big part of our
yeah,
world is medical is really in that acceptance that we were all created from two selves. I don't understand where this
right,
lunacy has come to that
right.
man, human, understands it perfectly and can mitigate all
No,
things and
no,
should
no,
know
yeah, yeah,
and be able to predict.
right,
And that is a beyond hubris. I can't even
yeah,
begin to touch that. But this is the power that we've given them. this is what we've done is those expectations. So if I expect competency, I expect compassion, I expect trying, try,
Yeah.
but tell me you don't know. Tell me you need to,
Right. Right. Ugh.
and yeah, but I mean, it is those life skills that get you through that because you want to
Right.
know what? There's something else around the corner. She's coming, I know it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. And I cannot imagine what you had went through. My kids, I haven't experienced that with them. Some have lost a child, which I cannot even fathom. I cannot even imagine what I would feel like. But so it's not to just play it off like, oh, that's just life. I can completely empathize, not 100% because I don't know what that feels like, but there's life will throw all kinds of things and we just need to figure out how to just keep moving forward while we're here on earth the best way we can. Totally sucks feeling that, but let's then use that, expand, and just we've got to stop turn that to just love and see light out of that, because some people just go through absolutely traumatic times, so it's
Absolutely
hard.
right.
And like you said, use it as a catalyst, because maybe that happened for some kind of miracle for somebody close to them, for their self, or maybe some stranger, but you use it for the positive, for the good, like you said, as a catalyst, like you're doing in your book.
And exactly. And it's the identifying the purpose. And that
Uh-huh.
purpose evolves and it changes and we have to allow it. We're not inside a box. Life is not cookie cutter. And so, to your point, I do not understand what it's like to have a child die. I do
Yeah,
not.
that's
But
painful.
I
Yeah.
can see, but the moms that were on the transplant unit and the support that we have had for each other and all of those things, and the different from a teenager to a 6 week old baby to a
Uh-huh.
this to a that. And I've held more of those children dead than I ever cared to in my entire life.
Wow. Yeah.
So it also gives you humility and it
Right.
stops you in your tracks to say, whoa, all right, pity party.
Yeah.
We need to acknowledge our gratitude for exactly the way things are right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that one too, because it's always like, well, someone else has it worse. No, yours is pretty bad. You got it. Own it. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're good. But find a place to sit there and say, okay, if everybody put their crap in the middle of their life problems in the middle of the room, guarantee you'll take your own
Oof.
back.
Oof. Exactly. Right. Yeah. 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 So much. It's incredible what we go through, right?
Yeah.
If we need to, just get help if we need to. There's plenty free resources out there. There's coaches, mentors, therapists, and just whatever had happened in the past. So just don't keep dragging it and letting it just drag your energy down, and because that's a major blockage that's preventing you from getting your dream.
And I think the verbal vomit and the utilization of whether it is support groups or whoever it is to get this stuff out,
Uh-huh.
because we can't even think clearly to know what it is that we want.
Uh-huh.
If we're all of this chaos is going in there,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of the chatter, and it's nonstop.
Uh-huh.
And yes, and it's when you decide, I don't want to be stuck anymore. I don't want to be.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
that's when it's going to change.
Yes.
I want,
Yes.
and it can be as simple as peace. I want to feel peaceful. I don't need millions of dollars. I just need to be able to breathe. It's all I
Yes.
want. And when we're in that dumpster fire and we're running beside it and we got the bottle of booze and the match right in hand,
Yep.
and you stop in your tracks and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yep. Exactly. And that's a miracle. Stopping that for others is a miracle by itself.
In and of
That
itself.
yes, yes. Some may not see it. Why is it such a miracle? Not a big deal. But when you're living it, it
Hmm.
consumes you. But then you can start to see more clearly. You have that little inner peace in you, and now you can start living life. You feel free, and that's just the little steps, that little bit.
And
Freedom.
that's the vomit. Yep, is
Yeah.
you feel free. And, you hit the nail on the head is we get sober. And here was this security blanket that kept us all
Yeah.
nice and warm and comfortable. And she's your best friend and she's always there. She never says no.
Yeah.
And then we take her away and all of the stuff that we were using it for, now it's gone and all that crap's there. And we're left hanging like, whoa, whoa, and yes, your AA is invaluable, your 12-step programs. But if we're not dealing with the mental on top of the sobriety,
Right.
and I'm not saying mental illness, you're just cluttered. You're stuck.
Right.
You're
Yep.
you're 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 trying to wade through this mud,
Yep.
and it's terrifying. And that can lead very quickly to, oh, let me go back. It was much more comfortable here.
Comfort. Exactly.
But growth
Exactly.
comes out of being uncomfortable.
100%. A change is uncomfortable, and you're not growing if you're not changing. And the more,
And isn't it funny
yeah,
that the only constant in life is what? Change. And yet it is a guarantee. It is a guarantee that that's what's going to happen. That and death, change and death. We cannot avoid
yeah,
either one of them.
yeah,
But yet we seem to hover from both
run
and
away
think
from
that
it.
we can
Yeah,
outrun it and think we
yeah,
can outrun it.
yeah.
Newsflash. No, no,
It'll find you.
it will
Yeah.
find you. It will
No,
come
it's
out.
bound to happen. It is the universe testing you because it also wants you to be better because deep down inside, like you had your dreams. Maybe you saw yourself as an author. I don't know. Was that true when you were a young little girl? No,
Not at all.
not at all.
Not, and I've been a social worker for 25 years. This has always been,
Oh,
and I worked on Wall Street, which was right down in the beginning of the 2000s, which is where the whole 9/11 thing
oof.
festered.
Yeah.
And and then I worked for United Healthcare, so I've done corporate America, I've done it all, and I constantly come back to this connection to help people get out of their own way. It's where I find
Yeah,
peace and
yeah,
joy. And again, I'm not going to I cannot fix your life. I cannot tell you what to do, but I can help you unload so that you've got clear thinking in order to make those choices to get
uh-huh.
out of your own way.
Yeah. So whether it's past hardship, past traumas, or maybe it's just nothing so terrible, but it's just procrastination or something that's just holding you from moving
Complacency.
forward. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that boils to our purpose. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it becomes very disheartening to kind of just think we're just flailing about and suffering nonstop. For what? Well, no one's going to point it to you and say, this is your purpose. This is why we're here. Because you want to know what? None of us know. None of us know. So what feels purposeful is where you should trust that that's the
Yeah.
path that you go. And we need to just have conversations. We need to let ourselves off the hook. We need to give ourselves some grace.
Uh-huh.
Many of the decisions and the things, it's what we did with the information at the time that we had and the resources. And again, can't change them,
Uh-huh.
but I can acknowledge them. I can be aware. And then we can move forward. Because when I'm constantly thinking about, you know, what did I do? Who's going to catch me? Who's going to talk about this? Who's going to find out? It's too much. It's too
Yes,
much. So when
yes.
I stop giving a fuck, it's
Uh-huh.
amazing
Yes,
how that
yes,
benefits you.
yes, exactly. And it's not that you're careless or cold-hearted or whatever, but all of caring too much about what your friends think, what your parents think, what whoever thinks, that's what's preventing you from chasing your dreams, your calling.
Right, right. And the good old Nike theme, just do it. Like
Yeah. Yeah,
it's fear that holds us back. It's fear, it's fear, it's fear,
it
it's
is.
fear.
Always,
And
always. Yeah.
and dress it up any way that you want. but we can sit there, that fear will still stay the same. And what coaches like you and I do is we push you out of your comfort zone. Okay, what is your fear? Let's talk about it. And like I said, many times it's not even realistic, your fear.
Yes.
And
And
when
you
you
know what's
say
so,
it out
yeah.
loud,
Yep.
you're all of a sudden you hear yourself and you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But if I don't have someone to
100%.
bounce that off of, then I'm just doing that own negative dialogue in my head. And
But
that doesn't
that's what
serve me any purpose.
everyone can benefit from, a mentor or a coach. And like you said, you need to get uncomfortable and do it with someone in a safe space. And like, look at you have me in
Absolutely.
my freaking, look at me sitting up in this chair, no shoes on, getting comfortable. But it's a safe space when you feel a connection, trust somebody, talk it out. Let that other person be a listener and just, make sure that it's a connection with someone that you feel that you can authentically trust, that you feel good with, and that person has something similar to where you want to be, or what you admire to be, or maybe not that exactly, but just someone that is able to just listen and give you a good advice. Because some women, men in their midlife, they're just like not feeling so
Yeah, and I
good.
think it's the thing about finding someone that suits you. When women get to me, you're done. And likely I'm going to say things and tell you things that you may not like in the moment.
Uh-huh.
And that's
Uh-huh.
okay. And if
Uh-huh.
you're not ready for that honest feedback, then then we're not a good match. And that's okay.
Yes.
And I think acknowledging that and not cutting yourself off. And as professionals, we know also who is a good match, and that's our job as well.
You could be for someone, there's someone for everyone. You may
There's
be
someone for
horrible for somebody else.
well, also the term you've disrespected me. For me, respect cannot be taken from you. You have to have it yourself. And when you
Uh-huh.
respect yourself, nobody can disrespect you. No, I'm speaking factual. I'm speaking truth.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking to you exactly what you told me about. And if that doesn't work for you, that's okay.
Yes. Yep.
If you're not ready to hear, and you may be ready in a month, 2 months, 6 months, who knows?
Maybe, if you feel like the need to maybe talk with somebody, reach out. If you think this
Absolutely.
amazing woman, Sarah, is the one for you, Spitfire and all, then we're going to drop your info down below, because
Yeah.
I think you will thrive. Like when you connect with someone, all you need is someone to just sometimes just listen and guide you in the right direction. And what is your last thing that you can say to someone that has a dream in our age group, just sitting there on the couch, just like, oh, well, no, it's too much? Or do you think they should go for it? What would Sarah say?
Sarah would say, if you think that you deserve more, you do, and go with that. I deserve
Gut
more.
instincts.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Your spidey sense, she has never been wrong. We've been taught not to listen to her. But your gut is telling you you want different. You want better. You want more peace. Then you deserve it. And only, I think you got a kick out of my line. Life is not a Jerry Maguire movie. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
coming to complete you. Get
Yeah.
that
Nobody.
delusion out of
Yes.
your head.
Period. Punto. Done. Yes.
So
Yes.
that's yeah, that'll be my big one.
Well, Sarah, I love talking to you, and
Michelle, I've had a blast. Thank you so much.
yes, no, and you're just so authentic and raw. And for others out there as well, find people in your tribe that are just able to giving you an uplift, and just being authentic is key. And with you too, I can see right through you, and you're just gonna say it like it is, and that's sometimes what people need, and I love that.
Yeah, you want that partner that's going to help you be the best version of yourself that you want
Yep,
to be.
yep,
And I got no stake in it. I got nothing. I got nothing. Where do you want to be? Let's see
yes.
how we can get you there.
Let's get you there, baby. Yep, life is short.
Yep. I
Ah,
love it.
well, honey, so nice talking with you. I'll drop your info below, and keep doing your thing, and I'm gonna go buy your book. I can't wait to read it.
Absolutely. It's available on Amazon.
Yeah.
Woohoo! I'm so
Congrats.
excited. And I can't wait to speak with you again. You're just
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.